go. Gentlemen.
Hi, everyone.
Hello there.
I see we've all made an effort to decorate your rooms. Whereas at least I've got a fucking Christmas tree.
Oh, why?
Where's your decorations? It's Christmas special, remember?
Let's get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till I show you my Christmas baubles.
Oh, I bet they're bruised after today, aren't they?
Oh, I think everyone's bruised, including my ego.
I was going to make myself a snowball, especially for the occasion. But I went downstairs to get my bottle of Advocat, my warnings, and it said it should have been kept. I had it from last Christmas, and it said you can only keep it 6 months because it has eggs in it. So it was like an omelette inside the bottle.
Oh. I was going to say you can give it a sniff and see what it was like.
Oh,
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah, it smelled like an omelette that had been dropped in a pint of beer.
Oh,
welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan.
Welcome, everyone.
I think that's a very apt first person comment there, because Nathan has just made a contest entry video into a certain person's 1,000 subs. So with it being Christmas, we should all see how many people can get to congratulate Mike on 1,000 subscribers.
Woohoo!
Have you got any crowd noise?
What did that happen?
I think you just did it.
Drum roll. Yeah. G.
How many have we got in, Andy?
12 at the moment.
Oh.
Cheers, everybody.
14. It's just like it's like happening.
Dean.
Hey, Paul.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there's Paul. And Jay. Fabulous. I've gone for a slightly different camera angle today, so I'm a bit more comfortable. And plus, it's an excuse to get me violin shot. You don't often see that, do you, on Mark G with the C videos?
It's growing.
Make sure your CD collection looks a lot less impressive, though. You're not encased in it as you normally are.
That's it. Yeah. Well, it's Christmas. I thought, push the boat out a little bit. Eh?
Goodwill to all formats, eh?
That's right. Absolutely right. Yeah. And I've got a few different formats to show you in my little list of albums as well. Gareth, good evening. Mark, good evening from Holland.
The headbanging Zulu's not in, is he, Andy? I don't want him running me down for drinking wine again.
Yeah.
No,
Another fine glass of shy pig, is it?
It's no. We've just got some Merlot tonight.
Oh,
That's it.
It's going down pretty well, and if it goes down any better, I'm going to have to open a bottle that I've wrapped up for my father for Christmas.
Hey, Billy. Have you drank all that before you've even gone on camera, Mike?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'll be interested in a couple of hours.
It should be, yeah.
Well, I can't embarrass myself any more than I normally do.
Oh, I don't know, like.
No, I don't think
that could easily happen.
Yeah, I'm on the old wife beater.
Oh, yeah. You should have put a vest on.
Not with this petty skin. The dazzle would have not been good.
A Rhapsody Nesbitt vest. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
So why doesn't somebody who can talk the Queen's English that everyone can understand explain what we've got for to talk about tonight? Just as a, I think that should be that fella there.
So, sorry, Mike. I didn't understand the word of that.
Yeah, that was just pure bollocks you just said there.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. All right. I'll MC. MC Cloudy. Right. So, under the veil of a Christmas special, although as you see, we've not made particularly any effort to decorate or make it Christmassy at all. We're gonna do a little bit of a review, really. Nothing in depth. We're gonna do a little bit of a review of 2020, some of our favorite albums we've picked up. Not necessarily the best ones. Some of us want to save that for our own end of year review videos, but just really to have a chat about what we've been listening to this year. Some of the better albums, some of the other albums maybe that we've been listening to quite a lot in the last year, and some grails as well that we've picked up during the year. I think that was one of the things that we were keen to discuss and show off our wares. So who wants to start? Someone show us an album from 2020 that you've enjoyed.
Well, I think Mike should go first. He's the man of the moment. So let's have Mike first up.
I'm not going to argue with that statement.
he's just love your moment in the.
I will, because it'll be gone. I'll be next week. I'll be just chip wrapping again.
Big me up, Andy.
Look, you're fatigued after your exercise today. I can easily run up there and fill you in. Well, I've gone for. I haven't got an abundance of 2020 albums, but I've gone for Testament, Titans of Creation, as one of the albums that I've been playing this year. The only thing is, I don't know why, but when it sits on the shelf and I think about playing it, it feels like a bigger undertaking than it actually is when it's in the CD player. I feel like it's in my head, it's longer, it's more bloated, it's not as enjoyable. And every time I put it in the CD player, all those fears dissipate and I just enjoy the album. But that does not stop it the next time I go to get it off the shelf thinking, oh, do I really give a shit that much about that album? And so there is something. Does anyone ever do that, have that wrestling thing with the self, that it just feels like something they don't particularly love as much as they want it to until you put it on?
I think for me, it's I always think an album's going to be longer than it is. So I'll always get to a stage where I'm like, I'm going to play that album, but I think that's pretty long, and I'll play it and it'll speed right through. So I don't know why that's always in my mind, that it's like it's going to take forever to get through or something. But that's my biggest issue with some albums, that do I really want to be sitting here for an hour and a bit listening to this album when it really is only about 45 minutes long.
Well, I gotta admit, I've not heard that one or bought it yet, and not because I don't want it, but it's one of those albums that I'll pick up and it will come down in price, and I'll probably get it on CD. I wasn't that fussed about the last album. I know this one is supposed to be 10 times better than the last one, Brotherhood of the Snake, but I know it'll always be there. It's not limited edition, and there were other things I wanted to buy this year and make sure I bought, so I would be able to get them at the before they either go out of print or become really hard to find. But that CD will always be there. I'll always be able to pick that up on Amazon or eBay when people start either selling it off or it comes down in price. So I will probably pick it up in 2021, but I just didn't feel that I needed to go out and rush out and get it as a new album.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm the same. You'd be surprised to hear. I have not heard it all the way through. I've only heard bits of it, and I am a huge Testament fan. I think the New Order is one of the best thrash albums ever. It's one of these irrational things now about being a music collector. If I don't own it, if I can't actually play the physical copy, I won't listen to it all. I won't stream it. I won't Spotify it. I kind of wait till I've got the physical format and then play it as like a treat to myself. Right, I can hear it from the start to the end now. And because I haven't bought it, I haven't listened to it properly. And I don't know why I haven't bought it. It's one of those, a bit like Andy said, I kind of see it there and I think, well, it's Testament. The price will come down. In 6 months' time, it'll be £5 or £6 on CD, and that's kind of like the mentality I've got with it, But I think the tracks I've heard off it, sound really good, but again, I'm a bit worried it's going to be that Andy Sneap syndrome kind of thrash metal, you know?
No, it's not like that. It mixes it up more than the last few albums does. You know, you've got a lot more of a variety, but I don't think they helped. They certainly didn't help me. I was always just going to buy it because it's Testament, but that Children of the Next Level is sort of a Night of the Witch. They're quite lengthy songs, and they needn't be. You could edit them down a bit, and you know, I can't remember how long the album is exactly, but nothing gives me greater pleasure than putting a CD in and then seeing the digital readout saying something like 39 minutes. I just think, oh yes. But when it says like 58, I just think, oh fuck, because I'm not always in the mood for that. But it is a great album. But I'm always bogged down with like, oh, can I be asked with that?
Yeah.
You know, even though I've never put it on and went, that's a piece of shit. I've always ended up enjoying it when I listen to it, but it still doesn't. I still can't help feel like that every time I go to grab it. Don't know why. Who's next?
Right.
Mark,
you go next.
Dream Theater CD on the other day. Who's that?
Is he frozen? No, he's moving.
Sorry,
he's frozen.
Who's next? Is it me?
Yeah, you go next, but you're not
moving.
You're not moving. You're.
We can hear you, but you're not moving.
Do you want to go next then, Scott? And then we can.
I've not even pulled anything out for this.
We'll go for this one first. Speaking of albums that were long, I put a Dream Theater CD on the other day. It was 72 minutes long.
Oh fuck!
You can't get much more on a CD, can you? Was it 74 minutes?
Can you hear me? I'm not sure if I'm coming through all right. Am I breaking up a little bit here, or am I all right?
The sound's all right, but you're very.
You've been losing like this.
What are you doing, Mark?
So, one of my picks and an album that I've properly enjoyed this year, if you can see that with the light properly.
Well, we can't actually see it.
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
The new Benediction album, Scriptures. I hope that's showing up all right. My lighting's a bit shit in here. But
it's your camera's shit.
The new Benediction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
happening down
there? Scriptures by Benediction 2020 on Nuclear Blast.
Tell your missus to get off Netflix.
Yeah, that's
you need all the band.
The whole house on the internet. This, you know me and the saying old school death metal. Benediction are an old school death metal band. This album is a real return to form for me for their sort of first 4 albums they released, probably anything up to Dark is a Season, I think, was where I'd kind of left them a little bit. They've got Dave Ingram back on vocals. That guy, he must be the same age as me and Mike, and me, Mike, and Andy maybe. And he's
it won't be as old as him, but I know what you mean.
A very, very powerful, growly death metal voice. And I was interested to hear that the drummer, Gino Durst, he's called. I recently found out, and it was Mark from Wandering Souls website who told me, but he drummed on a couple of albums for White Wizard, and I never knew that. And his drumming on this is absolute quality, solid, really, really good. But this is one of those albums, if you're not familiar with death metal, I would certainly say it's definitely a gateway album, you could call it, for the newer death metal. Mark G with a P because he pauses. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my internet here. We've had a new Virgin box putting upstairs in the new bedroom, and We've had it all checked, the signal and everything. It was great. So I thought, right, going to be perfect for the next Contact in Blood. It's just the fucking same, isn't it? Anyway, check this out. Benediction Scriptures. It's an old school death metal, modern day classic.
That's on my want list.
Yeah, and mine. I'm hoping to get that for Christmas.
I've heard a few. I've not heard the full thing. I've heard a few tracks off it, and I was well impressed.
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. That if you get it for Christmas, it really is.
It's got. Is that the? No, it's not the one with Ladder of Destruction. It's Cam Lee from Massacre that's on that, isn't it? For a song.
Yeah, on one of the tracks. Yeah.
That's another one that's on my want list. That's the problem with a want list. Like, I give Julie a want list, and then if she doesn't get them, it's going to be months and months afterwards from putting them on till I can go and buy them. You know what I mean? So I might think that through better next year. But that's one I'm hoping to get.
I've bought my Christmas presents from my wife, so I know on my want list.
No, there's an idea.
You bought them for yourself on her behalf.
I bought them, they've arrived, and I've given her the box so she can wrap it, put it in the tree, and I can look surprised at the kids on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I like it. I like how my Amazon, well, Debbie's Amazon is linked through my email address. So everything she buys, I get a notification that she's bought it.
Clever.
I'm like, yes. And then it comes up on Amazon Music saying you can play or download your album now. So I can listen to it. So the album comes in.
Perfect.
Well, I've not picked any out for this, so Andy, you go next. I better pick an album out.
This is one that passed me by. This one was released in January, I think, and I either had no clue or I just completely forgot about it and saw it the other day, cheap for, and that's the British Lion and the Burning, and it's Steve Harris's not solo band, but Steve Harris's side project from Iron Maiden. And it's really, really good. Doesn't sound like Maiden. Good traditional heavy metal, nice clean vocals, just I like it. It's just really good. I mean, I already picked it up about 2 or 3 weeks ago, giving it a few spins. But they released their first album, I think it was around 2012. So it's taken 8 years for them to come up with another one. And I think this one's even better than the first one. But definitely worth checking out if you're into your traditional heavy metal and you're a bit of a Maiden fan and you like to buy anything that's related to them, a bit like myself. And Darcy might have this one as well, I wonder. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. British Lion and the Burning.
Yeah, I stuck that in my want list because it was so cheap on Amazon. And then about 2 weeks later, you showed it and you're like, this is great. But you never really hear anybody talking about British Lion.
That's why I think I completely missed that they had a new album out this year.
Mm-hmm. I knew they had. I actually saw their first album for sale when I was out at Dig one day, and I left it. It's got I think it's got like a grey cover, but I just thought I kind of read the back. I thought, nah, I'll just leave it because like I'd never heard it, so I just kind of put it back. But yeah, I'll definitely think about giving that a new one a listen.
So is Glenn related to you, Mike? Just wondering. He's too modern for his ears.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's for me. I haven't heard it, but I know that traditional heavy metal is your thing, Andy, and I know it's a lot of people's thing. But to me, I've got to be honest. Hands up, I run a fucking mile from things like that. If it isn't one way or the other, but that's too sort of Volvo estate. That's fucking dad.
It is very Volvo estate of metal. It's not it's not really new wave of traditional heavy metal because it's not youngsters trying to emulate the old guys. The old guys just doing something a bit different than they do on their day job. It's like Steve Harris's Moonlighting, doing something just a little bit different. It's not the long progressive songs that Maiden are doing now. You know, they'll do your albums that are 72, 73 minutes long, plus that is more sort of a length of songs that you'd actually like probably a lot more, closer to the length of songs Maiden used to do. But it's not your chugging heavy metal that Iron Maiden used to do in the 80s. You can definitely tell that these guys know what they're doing, been in the business for a long time, and then sort of very comfortable in their own skin. They're not trying to be anybody because they're already somebody.
See, for me, with what the difference between what I would buy on CD or record or whatever versus what I would go and see them live. If they were playing Carlisle or something, like I probably wouldn't go any further to Phil, but if they were playing Kendal or Carlisle or something, I would go. I'd buy a ticket. I'd go and support the band and stuff like that. There's loads of bands like Thunder Mother are playing in Carlisle in the back end of next year. I don't own anything by them. I couldn't tell you the name of any song, but I will go to it just because my criteria for what I'm prepared to go out and buy a ticket for and go and watch in concert is a world of difference from what I want to own. You know what I mean? So I would certainly support bands in one way or another. You know what I mean? But as far as my own listening in the time I'm sat in this room or driving to work or whatever, I'm probably never going to listen to that. I feel like Maiden have done such an awesome job of the standard heavy metal, and then I've got some other backups like Dio and Priest and that I don't feel I need to go any wider than that. That kind of quenches my thirst for that style. But to each their own and all that.
So if there's any bands out there watching and you're thinking of playing Kendal or Carlisle, then
you guaranteed £9 off me.
Guaranteed, mate. Put that on the tour schedule.
£9. You really haven't been to a gig for a while, have you, Mike? For £9, you really haven't been to a gig in a very long time.
Well, I thought us boys in Contact in Blood were going to have a gig coming up soon for that Halloween. The one in Manchester.
We were until it was £89.
Seeing the price of them tickets, fucking hell, £90.
Was that with Udo?
I don't know. I didn't mention who the support was, but I can't pay £90.
No,
not for Halloween.
So maybe we could do it. We'll find a nice little gig in Kendal or Carlisle, and we can.
Good luck at Thunder Mother. See you there.
Thunder Mother.
We'll be able to afford a few beers then.
I would have paid £40 for Halloween, but fucking 90.
No chance.
No chance.
I don't think, to be honest, I wouldn't pay £90 to see anybody. I don't, because at the end of the day, anyone I really want to see, I've probably seen.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, even when I went to, I know Andy went as well, but when I went to see Slayer, on their final tours, that was only £50, and that was Slayer, Obituary, Anthrax, Lamb of God,
Yeah, it was cheap.
Should have got some money back. Should have got 25% of that back for Lamb of God being there.
Yeah, well, that's why it was cheaper. It was supposed to be like £65, but they're not 15 off because Lamb of God were playing.
Yeah.
I think
so, Mike, these are...
Thunder Mother.
I tell a lie. I have heard Thunder Mother once upon a time, but I'll definitely be there.
So I've kind of given up on them because they released those two albums. I love them, and then they're one of these bands that I don't know what happened to them, but they just split up, and one remained, and she reformed the band again, and now they're still Thunder Mother, but it's a completely different band. and I kind of not been asked about trying to find out what they've been doing since. But those first two albums are awesome. And I've heard some of the new stuff sounds good, but I just can't be asked going out and picking up their
But if you
latest
were playing Bannerman's, you'd probably
Oh,
go, wouldn't you?
I'd go. I used to be there at least 2 or 3 times a month, and now this year it's a shocker.
It says. So that band's now more like Thunder Mother-in-Law then.
Yeah. Thunder Stepmother.
Oh,
I'll show mine then. I picked one. It was quite an easy one. Maybe a bit, I don't know, predictable, but I'll go for Onslaught.
I'll just go and put mine back, you fucking wanker.
Oh, well, fucking sorry.
I don't know.
Oh,
Is that not
well.
Can you not just agree rather than throw your dummy out the pram, Mike?
I'll just put mine back then, you fucking prick. Or he could just go, you know what? Good choice. I picked that one too.
Yeah, okay.
No,
you're right. I will do.
Well, at least
I'll
I
put
know
it back.
I'm
Well, at
guaranteed
least it
the
doesn't
ones I
overreact.
Should we edit that out?
Yeah. So I've picked this because it's basically, I think it's the album I played, or newest album I played the most in a row from this year's releases.
Good question.
Because it's just got some absolutely awesome stuff, and I think because it sticks out to me, this had a bit of hype around it before it came out, and I was familiar with the older Onslaught from like the 80s, but kind of hadn't really dug into anything really after that. So when this was kind of getting talked about, I thought, right, okay, this is quite interesting. So picked it up. Well, in fact, no, I listened to the
Great man.
I listened to the singles that were released, and I thought they were awesome. So I just went straight out, picked it up, and obviously, well, you know, we had you guys were there when we had Dave on, who was a really great guy. And he does an absolutely awesome job on this. So
Shout out to Dave today. It's his birthday.
Is it? Happy
Oh, is
birthday!
it really?
But yeah, I just think it's absolutely solid, this album, and you know, it's one of those things that, and then I know Mike got, I think, the one before this, and he said that was awesome as well. So
yeah,
it's like it's an album like this that makes you kind of look back and go back and think, right, I actually need to start checking out more of all this stuff that I've missed. So I'm sure this album will open up some doors for some of the other stuff. So I just really enjoy it. I mean, Strike Fast, Strike Hard, Bow Down to the Clowns is probably one of my favourites. Generation Antichrist, Religious Suicide, just it's awesome. And I think this is the album that really got more spins in a row than any others. Because I think sometimes when you get some new releases in, you maybe get like maybe 2 or 3 in, you don't really pay enough attention to each one. But when I got this one, this was really the sole one that I had. So it got quite a few spins, and I think the more spins you get, or give something, that the more you appreciate it, things stick out more than they did on the first listen or second listen. So yeah, I think it's awesome.
For me, I find it a really easy listen, and that's what will get me to play multiple times. Now, it's kind of the opposite of that Testament album. Even though I love that Testament album, I don't feel like that's an easy listen. Whereas that's like, all right, is that it done already? And to me, that's the best thing I can. That's the best compliment I can give when it flies by and I don't feel fatigued by the end of it, and I could quite happily put it on again. I always say, if you can't play an album twice in a row, you probably shouldn't have bought it. But you know, that to me is a dead easy listen. I think the weakest on it would probably be Addicted to the Smell of Death. I find a little bit iffy, but Religious Suicide, it's even though it's got that really quite offensive chorus.
Yeah, I know, but it's amazing though.
It's great.
I mean, it is quite a risky chorus, I would say.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I know it doesn't sound. I said this earlier in the year when I bought this. No, I didn't buy it. Bev sent me this. Thank you very much, Bev, if you're watching. I don't want to take credit for that. This is like a trio of albums in my mind. The last Destruction album, and that last Possessed album, they're all very similar vibe to me. They're a similar vibe, and I find them all easy to listen to. And they've all got black covers.
Well, I didn't buy that one, but what I did was, because we had Dave on as a guest earlier on, it coincided with me getting an Amazon Prime trial for a month, and it was on Amazon trial, so I streamed it quite a few times, obviously, to get up to speed with it. But then I'd kind of played it enough to move on to something else, and the shame I've actually forgotten to go back and look and buy it. But it's one of those ones I will get at some point. A little bit like Testament, I guess. But at least I spent the time with it to appreciate it for what it is. So
yeah, I'm the same. I don't own it, but I completely agree with Mike. From what I've heard of it, it's just instantly likable. It's just very easy to listen to it, and then before you know it, you're at the end of it and you think, oh, there was a couple of good songs on that. I'm going to go have a listen to those again and kind of just repeat it. You know, I could have, it's this kind of CD I could have in my car for a couple of weeks. But yeah, again, I haven't got the physical copy, so I haven't really had a proper good listen to let it sink in. But yeah, that's on my list, on my want list, on my ever-growing want list. So I'm going to show you a record now that's come out this year, and I definitely know none of you will be showing this one, so I ain't got that problem. But you know me and my favourite style of music.
Old school
Swedish death metal by any chance?
Exactly it. Bingo on the money. That's why this man's on 1,000 subscribers. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, it's the new album by Lick, L-I-K, Misanthropic Breed. It's only been out a couple of weeks, literally.
That's more than a nod and a wink to the Entombed. Misanthropic Breed.
Yeah.
That is a lyric from Hollow Man.
Yeah, it probably is, but it's typical old school Swedish death metal. It's kind of got a bit of, if you've never heard Swedish death metal, this album's kind of like got the best. It's got the real old school sound, but also like when Dismember's more recent albums, and they were a bit more melodic, and the leads were a bit more sort of dueling guitars kind of riffs. It's got that in there as well. It's kind of that old school Swedish style, but with a nice modern twist on it. I'm fairly new to this band. I thought the name of the band was a bit mad, Lick. I don't know if it stands for something, but I always was a bit like, that's a bit of a shit name for a band, isn't it? Which, being as fickle as I am, it kind of puts me off. But the singer out of Enchantment, he was going on about and praising him, so I thought I must check him out. Mark Riddick does the artwork. I don't know if you can see that, but big me up, Andy. Big me up.
Oh,
Let me show you that.
I just give a preference to the Welsh speakers in the audience. Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a guy called Mark Riddick. He's in a band called Fetid Zombie. But he does quite a lot of artwork. It's just this sort of black and white sort of pen design. But That's just as old school as it gets. Oh, there we go. Lick is Swedish for corpse. Now then,
Makes sense.
I'll tell you what, Mark is an absolute fountain of knowledge. I said before, he's the guy who told me the drummer from Benediction used to be a White Wizard. And now he's telling me that. Nice one, Mark.
Corpse is the first name for grave, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, that's right, yeah. It's like a history lesson in music. This concept is some really good shit, isn't it? But anyway, yeah. If you like Entombed, Grave, Dismember, any of those bands, you are going to love these. HM2, Buzzsaw guitar, just fabulous. Really good. Lick.
I was really hoping we were going to get a description of the album like you do on your channel, Mark. I just love the descriptions you come out with because it's vile, it's gory, it's disgusting, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And he's just talking about his last visit to the toilet then.
I know, that's what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's putrid, dungeness, dark, growling brilliance.
Your entry to Brendan's contest that you're sneaking in. Yeah, Mark, I don't know.
Yeah. I was spoken for choice for doing Brendan's competition. I could have been at it. The video could have been about like 8 hours long.
Yeah. You could just go into your room blindfolded and just pick something off the shelf.
Literally, yeah. Literally.
Shall I go next then? Have you finished on that one, Mark?
Yeah,
have you got some more superlatives some grotesque superlatives to I'm actually going to go for the antithesis of the album that you've just shown. Complete opposite end of the spectrum. High spirits, hard to stop, completely
that looks putrid.
Uplifting, nothing putrid. I was going to say antiseptic, but that makes it sound sterile. It's not sterile. This is just like feel good. Bang this on a Sunday morning. Absolutely fantastic album. There's nothing putrid, disgusting, horrible about this. It is everything opposite of what you've said about your last album. But I love High Spirits. Kind of a single guy project. Again, Professor Black. He has his touring band, and this is like the fifth album. He's on High Roller Records, so it's great. I think this is on white vinyl. White vinyl is kind of my favorite color of vinyl. If I've not got black, I like a white vinyl. But then, yeah, it's just really uplifting. It's almost spiritual without being, it's certainly not anything like some of the sort of Christian metal stuff. But you do feel uplifted when you listen to it. And this is one of my albums of the year, easily. This is why I can't do necessarily a top 10 because the style of this is so different from the style of other bands that I've absolutely loved this year. I just can't compare them. I can play one on one day and play another one on another day. Love them just as much. So I'm sure we're going to talk about Hell Ripper at some point today. But this is like the opposite of that. But I love it just as much as those other albums. So if you've not heard any High Spirits, I would thoroughly recommend checking out this guy. Professor Black. He's done a few other projects as well. He's actually done some more sort of death metal projects as well. I'm struggling to think of anyone who's watching that knows sort of the other Professor Black stuff that he's done. I certainly think he's done one black metal project, but well worth checking out. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard any of the High Spirit stuff.
I didn't realise that Professor Black was High Spirits. I didn't. Yeah. I know you showed when you got your was it a High Roller Hall you got that stuff from?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, because you had Professor Black. It was like 3 albums for like 14 quid. Because I looked at them when I was on High Roller, but I'm not like really clued up on Professor Black. But I didn't realise they were the same person.
Yeah, it's the same person. He's also Dawnbringer is the name of the band. That is a lot sort of heavier. You'd probably like Dawnbringer, Mark, especially. Maybe you as well, Mike. Who knows? Maybe introduce you to a new band. But he's done other bands called Actor, which was a lot more sort of electronic. yeah, just one of these supremely talented people that can play all of the instruments, and he's also in a band called Super Christ as well. I'm gonna do a little bit of looking up there, but yeah, incredibly talented guy. Lots of different projects on the go. One of these people that's always busy. He's always releasing something every year in at least 2 or 3 different projects. But yeah, love High Spirits.
I need to check them out. I have. I'm sure I've seen you've shown them. I'm sure I've seen Bev show them. Maybe even Kevin War God. I think I've seen him maybe show. So it is a band that's on my radar. But I have to say, every time I hear the name Professor Black, I get this tune in my head that goes dum 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 dum. You know, like Captain Scarlet, Professor Black. It's just like there in my head. It's Captain Scarlet.
I wondered where that was going.
I streamed that album. Either you or Bev showed it, and I give it a whirl. And I downloaded a story onto my phone, and I have actually got it on my phone, and I listen to it sometimes. And it is absolutely awesome. It's really catchy, but Andy's right. It's like the total.
I can agree.
It's the total opposite of like extreme stuff and that. It's very uplifting, very catchy, but it is awesome. And the only reason I haven't bought it is because I looked on eBay to pick it up and it was like 16 quid on CD, and I just thought
it's because it's high. It's not.
I can't do that. 16 quid CDs are like fucking Cannibal Corpse or something. You know what I mean? It's like you're not getting them with that logo anymore, and it's years old. You either get it now or you don't. It's not like a 2020 release for me.
I don't even buy new vinyl for 16 quid. I wait until 15 quid's my trigger price whenever I see something. I think a long time, and then I'll grab it.
I'm really backing up Brendan's opinion of me as a fucking type bastard. And
careful bastard. I would say.
It's not just Brendan's opinion. Come on.
No, fuck. No, some things. I mean, some things I'm happy to drop 40 quid on. 50 quid. Well, no, I've never spent 50 quid on anything. I spent 46 on a Confessor record. But like some things I'm prepared to spend 40 quid on. But a band like that's I know it's great. If that was a fiver, I'm having that all day. 6 quid, 7 quid even, but not 16. I'm looking for something else a bit more special for 16 quid.
Tell you what, Mike, the next time we do a high roller, if they've got the CD on sale, I'll get you one.
You've got to remember,
the LP only cost me about 15 quid from High Roller, and it was brand new. But it's because it's coming from, they're ordering from High Roller in Germany and from the label, and High Roller don't distribute anything over here directly. So you've got to, anyone else over here has to import it, and then they want to get their cut on top of that.
Yeah, so that makes sense then.
And you've got to remember, Mike's still got to have a little bit of a budget for his shit wine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's like three bottles of Shy Pig.
I know. £16 would get me fucking 5 bottles of Shy Pig. And the smell of a tramp's underpants.
While he's still wearing them. What are we up to, guys?
Who's next? Has Scott actually got any music with him? Here we go. Good lad.
I'm going to recommend Burning Witches.
Oh, excellent.
Oh my God, where's my... So this is like a all-female... I always kind of call them an all-female Judas Priest. I'll try and give you a better view of the cover because...
I like that cover.
Thank you. So this is their third album. This came out at the start of the year. I've got their first two. I've actually still to get their
Judith
Priest. Yeah, that's what it's like. It's like they've got a new singer, which I don't quite like as much as the last one, but they're awesome, and I always buy their stuff. I've got their 3 albums, the EP. I still need to get this on vinyl, but that is on my Christmas wish list, and I already know it is dropped into my orders box, so that is on its way. But not many people talk about Burning Witches, and they've always got what was it they did in the last album? They did Holy Diver, and they kind of do these covers where they're kind of pointless because they don't do anything with them. They do the exact same thing that the original person did with them, and they've got a cover of Battle Hymn on this with Roast the Boss. But I would definitely check them out. Like I said, they do. In fact, they did Jawbreaker on their first album as well. But again, that was just exactly like
I bet there were a couple of jawbreakers in the time, them girls as well.
Oh, Jesus. You've been reading too much of Halford's book. But, yeah, I would recommend this because it's. I don't know. I think it's just because as well. I've kind of followed them from the start, and I kind of find it hard to break away from a band if I follow them from the start. This isn't as good as our first 2, but I would definitely recommend checking it out, and our first 2, obviously.
I watched them on video recently, and they were playing some outdoor festival.
Yeah.
And I think they've done that cover you've just mentioned. But it seemed very low budget. The festival they were at was quite low budget and stuff like that. So it's not really, you can't form an opinion on an album when you just see what I've seen. But that artwork is definitely something that would suck people in. I'll give them a listen.
Was it
definitely? And if they play Kendall or Carlisle,
you're there.
I was going to say,
that's one ticket bought already.
That's right.
I'll actually try and grab the other 2. The other 2 albums are pretty cool looking as well.
I saw Nathan from Metal Down Under. I think he showed that album in one of his recent updates. And he said exactly the same as Scott. He said the new vocalist is good, not as good as the new, not as good as the old vocalist. But I think he's been a fan from the start as well.
So that's the first album.
Does this, is this Burning Witches? Does the guitarist in that, is she now in the new Nirvana? Or is that someone different?
I have no idea. And that's our second one, Hex and Hammer.
Yeah, good artwork.
They got that name from Warlock, do you think?
Yeah, it must have done.
Yeah, got to.
Yeah, but check them out. Awesome.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about them a lot, Scott. I know you're a big advocate.
Where they're from?
Oh, for fuck. I don't know.
Carlisle.
Yeah, Kendall.
Brampton.
Who knows? Fucking Google it.
It's such a good review, Scott. It's such a good review, and then fucking Google it at the end.
He absolutely fucking annihilates anybody on this live stream at reviews. But he's just threw the towel in there, doesn't he?
Yeah. fucking Google it.
I'm tired.
Read
I've had a hard day.
What's next?
What have you got to show there, Michael?
Oh, has everyone been? Well, I'm going to show these 2 because I've championed both of these young men on my channel this year. So, Hell Ripper, which I mean we've talked at length about, and 2, because we do that, us guys. We're well connected, and that's obviously Aberdeen-based blackened speed metal one-man band but has a live band. It really is fantastic. And this Hellripper album, or cassette rather, is no different to every other Hellripper cassette I've got, in the way that my favourite song changes every week. And I home in on a song and think, yeah, that's the sweet spot, and then that changes the week after, and then the week after. So that is the sign of, I mean, that's a great sign, isn't it? That's a good thing to be happening. So I can't champion James enough with that. But also, more recently, I spoke about Tala and this Metriphagy album on E-Ray, and really fantastic. And I know as soon as I say it's new core, he doesn't call himself new metal, because it's basically it's more extreme than new metal. You know, it's more extreme than Korn and Limp Bizkit and all that. It's got that bouncy groove, but then it goes into full on, you know, like the fucking slam death, where it sounds like somebody's gargling a fucking bottle of TCP. You know, that shit. It goes into that. It's fucking proper guttural in parts, as well as being totally undeniably Slipknot and Korn influenced. So two young lads who I am happy to support. Get it. And I made a whole video talking about this whole lad's life, and, well, not his whole life, but, you know, the story behind this album and stuff like that. I don't know how many people went out and give this album a listen after that video, but I play it every so often, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's really great, and there's no one else doing new metal anymore, is there? Even though, like I say, it's come back a bit different, come back heavier than your normal new metal and stuff like that. But I'm fucking talking to myself here, I think. But never mind.
I gave that song when you put the link on your video, and it was all right. It's not something I would listen to over and over again, but it was. I don't know what attracted me to it, whether it was the music was really good or just seeing someone that looked like him singing like that, because obviously he's not dressed in that video as a typical metalhead would be. I think he's probably wearing a nice blazer, a shirt, and he's got he just hasn't got that
He looks like Ronnie Corbett or some fucker.
He looks like when he actually goes into that guttural vocal, you're not expecting it to come, because it just doesn't look like he would sing wearing those clothes. What you wear.
He looks like a townie who's just walked into a rock club by mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something I could. I mean, I wouldn't say I wouldn't buy the album, but if that song came on the radio, not that it would, I wouldn't switch it off.
Well, I'm going to be honest, I never even listened to it. But that was the one. That was the one. I remember you saying. I remember the video you were talking about. It sounded like a film.
Yeah, that's right.
About his life. I was like, Jesus, was he like an orphan or something?
No, his dad and his brother disowned him when he came out as gay, that's right. And he had this whole story behind this album. And I mean, I believe that he decided to switch it at the last minute when his brother and his father come back into his life and said, "Okay, let's just, let's get past this and reunite in any way we can." And I got the impression that he thought, "Oh shit, I better just change the main protagonist in my album then, so as not to upset me dad." Now I'm not saying that that's gospel, but that's what I took from watching the video. That it made more sense than him making this video about a mother that has stood by him all his life and didn't care what he come out as. He might have come out as a fucking Man United fan, but she was still happy to embrace him. But yeah, I think he switched it at the last minute, and it's got Mike Portnoy's son on drums as well, and he's fucking no worse than Mike Portnoy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to go and give that a listen, because the way he explained it, it was, I don't know why I never listened to it at the time, but I never went back to listen to it anyway. But I mean, the way he explained it, it sounded awesome. So I don't know why, but I'll go and listen. I will listen to it.
Definitely worth the playthrough just to see the video. And
yeah,
I
I gave it a listen, and it is. Mike describes it perfectly. It is a very, very new metal sounding, but I'm a bit the same as Andy. I think I could listen to it, but it's not probably something I would listen to again. I quite enjoyed it, and I quite enjoyed the sort of. It was so different. There were so many sort of little styles in there. Like you say, sort of going from it sounded sort of like 9 Inch Nails in parts. You know, there was a bit of everything going on. But for me, musically, compared to like the Hell Ripper, that Hell Ripper album is just something else. It's you know, that album is like, you know, metal from 1986 that's been resurrected, you know, but still got that same sort of dark aggression to it, you know, like
oh yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't think Tala is on a par with Hellripper at all.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
I mean,
but it was just I just wanted to show them both
different styles.
Yeah, we've discussed Hellripper many times on here, haven't we? So yeah, I mean, talking a bit more about the Tala was definitely worth doing. But yeah, I agree with what you said there, Mark. I mean, this is. I mean, I just love that. I mean, that priest is so angry, isn't he? Look at him. He's just like, "You will burn." He's like, "Ah." It's just, I just love that cover. The music, and this is an album that you've really got to sit down and read the lyrics. I mean, we've talked about his music so much, and when we chat with him, but as a lyricist, and I can say that because I haven't had too many beers yet. As a lyricist, he's amazing. Just the stories in here, and the thought, and just the ideas behind the songs. It's fantastic. She's also a little bit, I just love it. It's just such a like a kick in the bollocks of an album.
Yeah, that's almost going to be like like a modern classic. I think that's going to be looked back on, that album, by a lot of people.
And his lyrics as well. You know, he's kind of he bases his lyrics off real old sort of, you know, folklore, whether it be Scottish folklore or, you know, it just feels like he's just got a proper head on his shoulders, as James. I have to say, you know, I mean, musically, lyrically, everything about it. And I'm not being biased because we've had him on our show. But do you know the first time I ever heard El Ripper? And it's kind of down to these two guys up there. But Andy sent me one of his compilation CDs, and that was the first time I heard Hell Ripper on that, one of Cloudy Milder's famous UK traditional metal mixtapes. And then it was only a little plug for you, Andy. Go on. And then it was only a matter of maybe a month or so later that Mike was talking about them, and he said, "Have you heard this? There we go. Have you heard this guy Hell Ripper?" So obviously, you know, Andy was aware of it, I was aware of it, and it all just sort of came around quite quickly, you know. And I think it was quite early on for me when I joined the sort of VC making videos. So it was one of the sort of first bands that I really sort of took under my wing, I suppose, as a newbie, listening to new bands and discovering them, and one that I was just thought, yeah, I am all over that. You know, you hear a lot of new bands and people giving you advice. Listen to this band, listen to that band, and some of them are great, some of them are not. But Hell Ripper was like that instant one where I was like, fucking hell, that is marvelous. You know,
I think that song I put on that compilation is it Coagulating Darkness?
that's right. Yeah.
No, it was off Coagulating Darkness. It might be Conduit. I can't remember what it was called now.
Demdike, that's the one off that.
Yeah, Demdike.
Demdike's fucking immense.
Yeah, Coagulating Darkness, off Coagulating Darkness. That was awesome song.
I'll tell you what, though, I think that sound is going to be the hot thing for 2021. Have you heard the new Sodom album? That's very Hellripper.
Mm.
And I wonder if how much more of these are going to start and spread out, and that's going to be the next thing.
I definitely think that death metal and thrash metal, there's a lot more, whether it be vocally wise or some sort of way of the guitar playing, but there's definitely a more blackened element to a lot of the bands. And in fact, this is another album that I've been listening to that came out this year, a band called Necrot from California in America. Old school death metal, as you'd be surprised to hear, but there's some real vocally wise. You get a sort of a blackened feel to it, and it's death metal, but with elements of sort of thrash in there. It's got those sort of like the sort of traditional technicality of thrash on a death metal album, which you don't always get. You know, thrash is more of a technical sort of style than death metal, but these kind of mix the two together. But it's like I was just saying, it's still got that. It's got a bit of a blackened edge to it. It's got that feel, you know, and it's almost like that's the kind of feel that the more modern bands playing the old school style are doing, just to set themselves apart a little bit, you know. It's a great album, great cover as well. Some guy peeled all his skin off and thrown it off a cliff.
I think I put that on my want list, and I put it on, took it off, and put it on and took it off, and I can't remember whether it's on or off. I can't remember whether to expect it or not now. But I heard it, and I liked it more at the very start of it, and I think after a few listens, I had actually moved on to something else. It started to sound a bit generic to me, but that doesn't count for fucking anything, because if I sit down, because MP3s on a phone, you know, while you're at work, doesn't really, it doesn't help a great deal. You've got, like you said earlier, it is better to have things on a stereo, sit and concentrate and stuff like that. So I won't be upset if I do receive it for Christmas. I honestly can't remember whether it ended up on the list or off the list by the time I sort of submitted it to her indoors and said, oh, this is some shit that you could buy me.
It's solid. It's a solid album. It's nothing groundbreaking, but you know, I think for old school death metal fans, you're not always looking for something groundbreaking. You want something just that's pummeling, and you know, it's got that old vibe to it that makes you feel like you're 18 again.
Who's next? Sean.
Can I just want to say that so for about 15 minutes or so, the last 15, 20 minutes or so, I was just wondering why literally no one was commenting. And then all of a sudden my browser updated and there's been about 40 comments that have just shot up. So apologies to anyone that's been putting stuff on. That's why I've not been putting any comments up recently. So there's a few that have come in.
Andy, come on. Fucking on the ball.
You can blame the internet. It's not the operator. Blame the...
I was going to say, we'll have to pass the captaincy to the 1,000 sub man at this rate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
he doesn't want it. I don't want that responsibility. He talks like he's got half a brain. I can't even manage that.
Yeah, if I didn't have to do all this coordinating shit, I'd have 1,000 steps as well. It's easy for you guys just to go off and do your own thing.
You do a wonderful job, Andy. Now, show
You
He
us
does do a wonderful job.
Thank you very much. You are a true friend. Thank you.
You're the glue that keeps us all
What are,
together.
what are we moving on to next then, guys?
He's the fourth most intelligent member of his household.
I've got 2 rabbits now, so I've got down 2.
Well, do you want to move on to most listened to this year?
Most listened to, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. What have you been listening to mostly this year?
Well, as time's gone on as fast as it has, I think we should maybe show the 3 albums that we've listened to and talk about them, you know, rather than drag it out one at a time, because we've gone through an hour and Scott's got to get up early, you've got to get up early, all that stuff. So we were looking at maybe 2-hour videos. So I personally, if you don't agree with me, I'll show you the new format. As your leader,
You're the boss, Mike.
I told you it would take us ages to get through 36 fucking albums, didn't I?
So honestly, the 3 albums, and I don't want to upset you viewers out there and what I've been listening to the most, but Wasp will always be somebody I listen to year in, year out. You can probably file early Halloween in that as well. It's just a given that I will go to the first 4 or 5 Wasp albums and the first 3 or 4 Halloween albums all the time. And I know even Blackie Lawless doesn't like this. He thinks the band were fatigued and all the rest of it by the time this album came out. But as this was my entry point to Wasp, and it was the new hot thing at the time and all the rest of it, I absolutely love it. Even as the amount of songs that it's got on it doesn't really piss me off either. So Electric Circus, Baton Rouge, which was something I hadn't heard about until I think it might have been Black Star Vinyl mentioned it first. He's usually the guy that's going to mention something like this first. And I jumped on it. I give it a few listens and thought, fucking hell, that is just like 10 out of 10. So I bought the CD, but then when I went to this whole let me get all the stuff on cassette hair metal business, I was chomping at the bit to get that on cassette, and I finally got it sent from Germany for a good price. I can't rate this highly enough. I mean, it's up there with the greats for me. And lastly, Chrome Molly, which is another band. This album's from 1988. I didn't know about it at the time. I don't even know why, because that cover would not entice you to listen to it at all. And I don't know why I even did give it a chance, but I put it on and just thought, fuck me, where have you been all my life? Tremendous. And there's Scott showing the 12-inch version. And this is such a bastard to find on cassette, but I finally got it, and this could have gone in one of my Grail's choices for this video, but I put it in the most listened to because I have battered it this year. If you haven't heard this UK band from Leicester, 1988 release, they had another one before this. This was the best of the first 2 albums, and it was brought out for the American market. It's not actually an English release. It's on that IRS label, so them bastards are fucking over Nuclear Assault and a few other bands as well. But
still going.
Easy to pick up on vinyl. Tremendous.
They're still going. I saw them Graham Bonnet band a couple of years ago.
You saw Chrome Molly?
Yeah, they're still going.
Yeah.
Recently.
I don't know anything outside of that and, you know, the first 2 albums, but that is just, I just love that album.
Well, when did you recommend that to me, Mike? Like before lockdown.
Yeah.
Like the start of the year.
Yeah, because I had the first two albums on a CD. I bought that, and I'll mention them then because that was the first time. Although I had the vinyl actually, like back.
I remember. Well, I basically you sent that link to me. I listened to it, and I think that day I bought it, and I've had that in the inbox since then. So that could be 8 months that's been sitting in my inbox.
Oh, that's tragic.
That is tragic.
You need to get that on.
No, I've had it on. I've just not shown it in the video yet.
All right.
Can do. Right. It's okay.
All right. Who's going next? Mark, do you want to go next? Let's go clockwise.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
Okay. So here's a shock for you. It's not old school death metal.
Rat. No.
If you can see that.
House of Lords.
House of Lords.
House of Lords. I have had this on in my car. I just love this album. I mean, as brutal as things get with me and the music I listen to, sometimes when I'm driving, I just want something I can sing along to. And for me, this is it's brilliant. It's just a great piece of AOR hard rock. The second song, I Want to Be Loved. How can you not sing along to that chorus? Fabulous album. Greg, how do you say your surname? Greg Gurfra. Gurfria, that's it. Yeah.
Gurfra.
Brilliant. I love
Gurfra sounds.
I think it's Jafria.
It sounds more metal, doesn't it? Gurfra. Next up, again, my lighting's shocking, but this is a band called The Occult. I picked this up off Bandcamp not long ago. It's really like what's the word? I'll go for one of these.
Do it.
It's bassy. It's sort of when you play it, it sits right in there. You know, and it's like I think if you played it that loud, it would literally make your clothes shake on your body. It's so bassy. It's old school death metal. HM2 sound.
HM2 buzzsaw.
But it's just one of the heaviest albums I've heard in ages, and I can't get enough of it. and when I play it in my car, my wing mirrors move of their own accord. I've got it on. Like the vibration. And last but not least, this is a Swedish band called Hypnosia. The album is called Extreme Hatred, and if you love Creator's extreme aggression, you need to hear this album. It's like the follow-up for Extreme Aggression. It's like what Coma of Souls should have been. It's fast, aggressive thrash metal. Kind of reminds me a little bit of early Sadus as well.
I've just made a video with that album in it.
Have you? This was released in the year 2000, and if it had been released in 92, 93, it would be known now as a classic. I'm quite sure of it. I think it's that good. I just cannot get enough of it. But it was, 2000. It was the height of new metal. This was just always going to get lost amongst that style of music, wasn't it? But if you like your thrash metal, Fast and Furious, they've gone on to other bands. Someone told me that one of the members of Joy was in Bullet, who were like a bit of an AC/DC type band, I believe. I don't know them, but yeah, check it out. Hypnosia, Swedish band, absolutely fantastic.
What are they called? Hypnosia, did you say?
Hypnosia, yeah.
But at the moment, right, they're in the €1 sale on Hammerheart because I've just bought it.
Are they really?
I bet you wish you waited, Mark.
Yeah, I think, fucking hell, I think I paid €5 for this. Oh my God. If it's €1 at Hammerheart, anyone who's watching this, if you love your thrash metal, you need to get onto that, because that is the bargain of the century.
I'm waiting for a Hammerheart package coming in the post to show in my next video. But I've already got that in an old one, you know.
Excellent. What do you think of it, Mike? Have you ever listened to it?
Yeah. It is. It's extreme aggression worship. It's a bit. It doesn't sort of deviate from that. But as I say in my video, if you want some sort of fucking knuckle dragging, sort of harder edged version of Creator, then, you know, for €1, you'd have to pull me off that fucking kicking and screaming for not to buy that, because it's you know, for the year 2000 when the original. Well, no one was doing that then. Creator weren't even playing that then, were they?
No, they weren't.
Do you know what, Mike? You've actually just put me off by saying it's a knuckle dragging version of Creator. I was up for checking this band out, but a knuckle dragging version of Creator makes me.
I don't think you'd like the man. You don't like Creator, and it's a mixture of Creator and Circus. Now, I was surprised last week when you said you thought that Swallowed in Black was all right. So
I don't know, what was that track you sent me? Because you sent me a link to a Sadist track, and I actually thought that was all right, because it was a
that was actually off the first album. That's their most extreme stuff. Sudden Death is probably that's off their first album, and that's as harsh as they ever got. And so Swallowed in Black that I sent up to your house for Darcy, and the other album after that, they're not as extreme as the first album. So
they more just like thrash, or they more?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're going to order from Hammerheart in the near future for €1, you're going to buy that Hypnosia all day long.
I might buy another one just in case I wear this one out for €1. In fact, I might buy it. I might buy a load of them and give them away to make sure everybody's got a copy.
Say me buy one then.
I will. I'll send you one.
Go look after your heroes, haven't you?
It gives Brendan something to comment on your 1000 video. You can be another tight bastard.
Well, does it matter?
Yeah, I go for it.
Well, I'm going to mention this album. I got this album in the last couple of weeks, and it's been on a few times, which is probably more than any other. And it's Bruce Dickinson, The Chemical Wedding. So, well, basically, everyone's been showing Bruce Dickinson over the last couple of months for some reason. I don't know why, but sometimes you get this wee pattern of artists or albums that get shown, and a lot of people have been showing Bruce Dickinson, so I thought I'll go buy some of his albums. They're really cheap on eBay. See what they're like. First of all, bought the greatest hits, and there was some really great tracks on that, so I thought, right, I'll just go out and buy a couple of his solo stuff. So The Chemical Wedding, to put you in perspective, came out in 1998, I think. It's quite dark in here. Yeah, so it's 1998. So this is like the same year, I think, Virtual 11 came out with Iron Maiden. And this just blows it out of the water. I mean, I would say this beats the Boys Bailey stuff, The Final Frontier, Fear of the Dark. This is awesome. Start to finish. I mean, it's not strong all the way through. It has got some songs you can probably bypass, but I definitely suggest picking this up. Well, I know you guys like Bruce Dickinson because you like Iron Maiden, but it blows at least 4 or 5 Maiden albums out the water. So, I mean, check out the songs, King and Crimson, Chemical Wedding, The Tower, Book of Fell. It's pretty awesome. Like, I would give it a shot. Another one I've been playing quite a lot recently. The Dark Metal Church. I don't know why. One night I just put this on because I thought it's been maybe about a year since I listened to it, and it got about 3 spins because it's just absolutely fucking awesome. And I've always been like a massive fan of Mike Howe, and I've always thought Mike Howe has always been like the better vocalist from Metal Church, but David Wayne sounds tremendous on this. I mean, especially Method to Your Madness is just a fucking awesome song. That and Watch the Children Pray.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Yeah, but I mean, all the way through, it's just tremendous. And I think it's because Metal Church have this, I think they have this kind of unique melody style that a lot of bands kind of missed a trick on. And I can't really explain what it is, but they always just seem to come up with these really interesting vocal patterns with their songs. And it just sucks me right in. So that has been on. And I mention this one all the time, but this gets played at least once a month. Weatherwolf's first full-length album, because this is just absolutely tremendous. So this is like, I've said it before, but they kind of look like a hair metal band, but they're more just kind of like US power, like heavy metal. But I'm have that look at the track listing. But I would always say to people, if you see this on any format, pick it up. The Calling, Share a Dream, Cry Out, Gypsies and Thieves. They do a cover of Bad Moon Rising. That's a bit shite, but Princess of Love. It's just a fucking awesome album as well, and that gets played. I'm not being funny. Probably once a month. So they're mine.
Great albums.
That Bruce Dickinson, I remember when you showed that and you were saying about it. And today, I went to the market stall and I picked up that Bangalore Choir CD, and they had that Bruce Dickinson album there. And I couldn't remember whether that was the one that you had shown. And I knew what you were doing all day with the Thai boxing thing and stuff or whatever. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to bother him. And I just left it because I know it's unlikely in Whitehaven that somebody's going to nip in there and go and buy that. So that'll be there. It was £4. I don't know whether that's a good price or not, but I'll be able to go back and pick that up next week.
I would get it.
That wasn't the album.
Yeah. I didn't really click for Bruce Dickinson till this year when I picked up that. And I picked up that not knowing it was a live album. I thought it was a best of. And it was oh no, I actually thought it was a live album, sorry. It turned out to be like a bit of a best of as well as the soundtrack for the documentary. The documentary is very grim. But yeah, I mean, considering how big a Maiden fan I am, I just never really pursued the Dickinson stuff before, but now I am. Great stuff. And I've not heard the Cameron Wedding yet, so that's definitely one high on the watch list. Good picks.
I think with that, all the young dudes that Bruce Dickinson covered, I think that puts a lot of people off. It always put me off for years and years. But I've got a couple of his solo albums now, but not that one, and I'm certainly going to check that out because Scott has sold that to me big time.
Cool. All right, so I'll jump in with my. So when we came up with these questions, I wasn't really sure whether we were talking about just 2020 or whatever. So, but one thing I've been on a big kick this year is sort of UK thrash, partly due to the Contract in Blood, not to be confused with Contact in Blood, the superb YouTube channel that you're watching now. But yeah, so bands like Holosade or maybe Hollow Sade, as it could be, who knows? And Arbitrator. an arbitrator. So this is just two I picked out. These are reissues, obviously, from 80s, early 90s UK thrash metal. Two fantastic albums that I think showcase how good UK thrash metal was. Well worth checking out, easy to find, and with a lot of the UK thrash metal stuff, I thought I would try and pursue a lot of the stuff on vinyl, but from what I've read and from what I've heard, a lot of the UK bands just basically got no budget, so the original releases were all completely shit. They just sort of would put them out, get them out, and the record companies didn't want to have a lot to do with them. They just wanted a UK thrash metal band on the schedule. So a lot of these CDs and reissues coming out now are all being remastered, and it's sound pretty cool. So yeah, I'm lapping up any sort of UK thrash from back in the day that I can. And another album that I've actually played a lot, and one of those ones we were talking about where you could spin 3 or 4 times on the go and not really bothered about, is this band. I think they're Swedish, called Night. I ended up buying pretty much everything that they've released this year. This is Raft of the World, kind of atmospheric, traditional heavy metal. Everything that you hate in an album, Mike, I love in this. But yeah, this is an album I could play over and over again. In fact, I picked up a couple of their other albums just on the strength of this, but this is by far the best one that I've heard from them. Really, really good stuff. So I'm trying to keep mine down quite short because we want to go like another half an hour or so. We want to cover all the other stuff. But yeah, a big 2020 for me has been discovering a lot of UK thrash and buying a lot of CDs in that area.
I haven't heard
Holashade, which I quite like. I've got one of their newer releases. I've not got that one, but I think that band featured the bass player from Acid Rain originally. If that's right.
I think it might have. Yeah, this one's got sort of all sorts of demos on as well, which is just really good.
Is it the one with the house on the front, like the haunted house?
Yeah. So yeah, it's got Mac. He used to be on Acid Rain, didn't he?
That's it, Mac. Yeah.
And Philip Desjardins. So Philip Desard. Yeah. I'm sure Sade was another singer in the 80s, wasn't she?
Holashade. That's the best thing.
Maybe they were married. Maybe Philip Desard was married to Sade. Who knows? But it's a superb album. Well worth checking out.
Yeah, I need to get that. I'm not sure if they've been re-released on Dive, Bob. Some of their albums.
Yeah, I think this is no, this isn't Dive Bomb. This is I don't know, get my old glasses on. No, it is Dive Bomb. Yeah,
oh, excellent. Yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah, definitely worth it. It's got demo tracks and Friday Rock Show sessions as well. Really good.
Nice.
I remember you sending me a link on eBay for that, Andy, and it was like they were giving it away. It was like $1.99 or something, and I don't know why I didn't buy it. And then it finished, and it was it was done, and I was like, why the fuck didn't I buy that? Pretty sure it was that or that other one with the the pattern, circular pattern on the front.
Yeah, that's the one I've got. That's good band.
So what's the next topic? Grails that you got this year?
Yeah, so we thought we'd show what three of the sort of the best things that we've picked up in our collection as in grails. Ones that you've been looking out for and have been on your want list for a long time, and you either not picked them up because of money wise, but go for it, Mike. We'll let you start. What have you picked up? What are your 3 wonderful new additions to the?
Well, I've got 4 to show. For the simple reason, one came off Scott and one came off Mark, and they are Wayne Metal Church, which is David Wayne's album from 2001 after he was in Metal Church. I did not know this was about back in the day until joining the VC and seeing people talk about that. I still can't believe Scott sent me that because he doesn't even own it himself. That's how selfless a guy he is. And then once I started transferring my hair metal stuff to cassette, I quickly realised that, oh, fuck me, I'm never getting that second Dangerous Toys album because everyone else in America is keeping a hold of it and you just can't buy it in this country. And then Mark sent me that. So those two items right away, I mean, I just didn't envisage owning them and then to be sent them as VCLT. Superb. Can't thank you lads enough for that.
What are this?
And then in January of this year, this was a grail for me, but this is, I've got to be honest, this is a Russian bootleg. It's not the real deal, so I'm not trying to palm it off as the real deal. But it's Macabre's 2000 album Dahmer, which is a concept album about the life of Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer from Wisconsin, I think he was from. And there's 26 songs on here. If you're familiar with Macabre, they're a grindcore band from the 80s, three-piece, like mind-blowing musicianship. There's Dahmer's supposed signature on the CD. And this tells his life story from when he was going out and he would sit in his parents' garden, and then they lived on a busy road, and when a car ran over and fucking squashed a dog or a cat or a skunk or whatever the fuck else was on the road over there, he would go out and play with the fucking intestines and shit like that. That was his early stages of his life. And then he progressed and it became a real piece of work. Macabre combined sort of grindcore, absolutely off the charts thrash with nursery rhymes and storytelling all about serial killers. And to be quite honest, that shit will get old. I only own Grim Reality, which was like the first thing that came out and the first thing I heard from '87. So that held a special place. And then this Dahmer album, they've just put out an album this year, and I've listened to it, and I'm not fucking interested in it, to be honest. It's because they've made a niche market even more niche by focusing on just the one murderer that I was interested in this years ago, and I absolutely love it, but it's not an easy listen. I mean, fucking hell. Anyone that's heard Macabre knows that they're not an easy listen, but I love it, and it's about 40 quid to get the genuine article.
It must be worth more. It must be worth more than that if it's signed by Jeffrey Dahmer on the CD.
Yeah, I know. And finally, for Grails, I just never thought. I knew this was on vinyl and CD, and what I didn't realise until this year was the vinyl is a completely different mix to the CD. And as soon as I heard that, I thought, oh, well, I need the vinyl more than ever. So it went from being, on my want list to top of my want list. And it's Meat Hook Seeds embedded. And it's a totally different mix to the CD version. And it's half of Napalm Death and half of Obituary from 1993. And I never thought I would own that on record. It's like rock and roll shit. And this was in awesome condition. I think I paid about £28 for it. But there you go. Really surprised to pick that up. It's not a big enough album that Earache would say, yeah, we'll put that out again. It's too niche, I think.
Brilliant pickups, though, mate. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just before we go on, I just want to say that if anyone's putting comments in, I've not seen one pop up for like 20 minutes, and I'm sure people have been typing away. They usually do, so that's why nothing has been popping up. it's been a bit of a twat today, I have to say. But there we go. That's why nothing's popping up. No audience interaction. But we've still got a good core of people watching us. So who's up next? Mark, do you want to?
Yeah, should we go for it? Okay, 3 grails of mine. One of them I purchased myself, and the other 2 I have been very kindly gifted. A bit like Mike, really, but
fucking hell! Could you not go a day without?
I know we went a video there without showing that album.
What album is that, Mark?
Right, that's it. Andy, fucking mute him.
You're barred.
shall I remain silent, officer?
Yeah, just move on to the next one.
Yeah. So what's that album then, Mark?
We don't need. You know all about that band. That was followed again very kindly. What the fuck's going on with my lighting in here?
What's that? The Black Album?
Yeah.
Gorguts.
Considered dead. Technical death metal band from Canada, French Canadian. Released, was it 90? If I remember right, 91 on Road Racer. Big grail of mine, this, for a long time. Yeah, this, I suppose you could sort of say that's awful, that lighting, isn't it? But yeah, the sort of pioneers of technical death metal, pretty much from 91, but huge grail. Dan Seagrave artwork that you can't see because of the glare.
Superb.
And another
He's
one
got a little snake in the bottom corner.
Another one with a bit of Dan Seagrave artwork is this little beauty.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Black Album again. Is that the same one?
Yeah. That's Back in Black, that one.
That's shocking. Why's the light? Oh, here we go. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Why's the
It's not black
lighting?
at all.
So this is Carnage, Dark Recollections, Swedish, old school Swedish death metal, and this is the Necrosis release of this. Necrosis is a sub-label of Ear 8 Records that was run by the guys in Carcus, and this was a split release with a Norwegian death metal sort of gore grind band called Cadaver. So I'm lucky enough to own the original Ear 8 release of the Carnage, and this is the one, because the Cadaver album, Hallucinating Anxiety, is a bastard to find anywhere. So very happy to have that. Good old eBay. That's my 3 grails. The Black Album, the Black Album, the Black Album.
Right, let me find mine in this mountain of shit that I've got here. So my first one I'm going to show is Laz Rocket, Annihilation Principle. So I basically, I mean, they were always on my radar, but it didn't really become grails. I picked up Know Your Enemy. I just kind of like stumbled on that, and I thought, you know, it was awesome. And then about, I can't remember how, it was quite a short time after I picked that up, they announced that the reissues were coming out. So I kind of had to make a decision pretty quickly whether I was going to go for the reissues or, you know, just try and stick to the OGs. So I kind of think I made the right decision and just kind of stuck to the OGs. This came up on eBay, and it was a bit of a bidding war. This was probably the most expensive album I bought the whole year, but it's awesome. So that cover is, I mean, it's in amazing condition. still got the gloss on it. Really good condition. So I was happy to pick that one up. And I think it was the day before, because I kind of, well, in fact, no, the way I made my decision was, if I don't pick it up by the time the reissues are released, I'm just going to grab the reissue. And I think I grabbed it the day before the reissues were released. Next one is one I picked up recently. Testament and the New Order. This has always kind of been kind of near the top of my list, but it's always just been really, really pricey. And I finally saw this for a decent price, so I just absolutely jumped on it. So happy with that one. Awesome. My favourite Testament album. And my number one has to be the Ultraviolence. When I saw this come up, I kind of got into that mentality where I was like, I'm not letting this go. Because you don't really see these come up that often. So when it did come up, I thought, this could be my only chance for a while to grab this. It is in, I would say, excellent condition. The cover's excellent, the inner's excellent, the vinyl's excellent. So, you know, I was in that kind of mindset, and it's a mindset I get in quite often where I think, why should anyone else have it when I want it that badly? So, yeah. So I won this, and it was one of those albums that you don't believe you've got it. What the hell was that?
No,
I'm
just here doing this, and I don't know. Everyone just seems to take the fucking piss out of me.
Well, I can't. I'm not got fucking glasses.
Yeah,
well, you're old and pathetic. You can't.
Honestly, I've just been talking away, and you've just been twiddling your glasses at me.
Well, I've been listening intently.
So anyway, yeah, I get in this kind of mode where I think, well, why should anyone else have it? Because I want it that badly. So I kind of hung on in there and grabbed that. So that's definitely been my biggest grail this year, because it's just, well, awesome.
But not as good as Act 3. Quite
not
right.
As good as Act 3.
Correct.
Than Act 3.
3 brilliant albums, though, there, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
I went for a bit of a Bay Area grill session there.
Yeah.
What's
Have
you picked yours, Andy?
No. So my 3 are I'll just remembered one, so I've chucked it back in. Is I touched on this in a video earlier where I was the dangers of bidding and stuff when you've had a few beers. What I ended up with, so the Flots, Doomsday for the Deceiver, was definitely what I've been looking for a long time. But I ended up with 2 copies because I made 2 separate bids, won both of them minimum bids for ridiculously low prices. And Scott was going to take one off me, but he went and bought his own, the bastard. And but I also picked up the reissue as well. and I hate the reissue because they've reordered the tracks. They've added on an extra. They added on Flotzilla, I think, for this one, and then they put ULSW on side C on its own. So this, I hate. I will get rid of this at some point. But was really happy to finally get a Doomsday for the Deceiver, because that is my favourite Flotsam and Jetsam album. And I know they're still going, and I know lots of people love that they're still going, but the first 2 albums for me are where it's at.
Yeah,
that's going to fall down something horrible later. The next one was, and I got this one as VCLT as well. Kill 'Em All on Music for Nations was a definite grail for me. And I had a Russian version before, which sounded a bit shit. I didn't I thought I got a great bargain when I originally bought it about 6 years ago. I was a little bit naive about really knowing what to look for in records, but fantastic to get this one this year. And it kind of reignited my love for that album, because a lot of people say, I would say that Master of Puppets is my favourite Metallica album. Lots of people say Ride the Lightning, but listening to that one again, just brilliant. It's kind of raw. It's a little bit naive because they've never done it before. They're just all from the heart. And probably the biggest one for me was one I didn't think I would end up owning. It's another thrash metal classic. And again, it's a Music for Nations one. Well, I wanted the Music for Nations pressing, but Bonded by Blood by Exodus. I didn't think I was actually going to own this. And I know there are copies available. I know it's not impossible to get, but the prices that people want for this is more than I'm prepared to pay for an album. I'm not one of those people that will pay like 50, 60 quid just to get a Grail. I'll buy the CD and I'll wait. And one day, if you're lucky, it'll pop up at a decent price, and you'll win that bid on eBay. So keep sticking it out. Don't feel you have to pay over the odds for anything. But this one for me was just absolutely mind-blowing, the fact that I actually got a copy. It was actually expensive for me. I think it was probably still about 25 quid I ended up paying for it. But compared to what some people have paid for it on Discogs and eBay, I did all right. One that I was going to add in, because I've forgotten about the Fox and Jetson, was the Spread the Disease picture disc. It's not that the picture disc was a Grail. It's just I love this album to death, and I've got about 2 or 3 copies of the Music for Nations version, slightly different pressings. But I suddenly found the picture disc version. I never actually played this one. I don't know if it sounds any good or not, but it's Spread the Disease. It's my favourite Anthrax album, and to find that earlier this year and get it for a decent price, I wasn't going to let that go.
Right.
Excellent.
Well, I'll tell you what, just to sort of round the video up, why don't we just say, we've got about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right, what's each of us looking for to add to the collection next year? So, Andy, while you're in the hot seat, what sort of stuff will you be hoping to add to your collection, apart from new releases, excluding new releases next year?
I was just about to come up with a few new releases, the likes of Testament and things that I missed up from this year that I'm kind of waiting, that I know will come down in price, but I know won't be difficult to find. I don't know. I've got to that point with my Iron Maiden collection that I'm actually looking at bootlegs, and I would quite like to find some nice bootlegs on vinyl. Certainly around the A Matter of Life and Death tour. That's criminal to me that they didn't release a live album. The only album that they've done in like the last 20 years that they've not released a live album on. So I want to try and find something like that on vinyl. That would be great. I know there is some out there. Other than that, it's a few holes in the Music for Nations collection. I would still like to get to the point where I could show the first 100 Music for Nations releases, and then I can get rid of the crap ones. I'm keeping all of the crap ones at the moment. Because I want to do that video at one point where I go, look, this is the first 100 Music for Nations releases, 1980 to 1991, 92-ish. So something like that. I can't remember the name of it now. The Exciter album, the one with the knife that's a bit with a limp hand. Is it Taken by Force? Is that the name of it? Yeah. So that's me picking up a few of those, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else is coming out in 2020.
What about you, Scott?
I'm looking. I want to pick up some more Man-O-War. That's always a band that the OGs always escape me, and they're always, for some reason, stupid money. So I want to get a few of them. I want to pick up some Hex. I'm still trying to decide whether to get start getting the OGs, or try and or try and get the reissues.
Sorry.
What else? I mean, even over the last year, my interest in the UK thrash has heightened a lot. It seems you guys have been talking about it quite a lot, and I definitely want to dive a bit deeper into that. What else? There's a few discographies I'd like to complete. Metal Church. I'm quite close to completing Metal Church. Megadeth. Yeah, I want to pick up some, like, the rest of the Accept albums that I'm missing. Halloween. So, and yeah, whatever's coming out, and I think there's going to be another good year for some metal albums as well. So, whatever comes out, we'll see what happens.
What about you, Mark?
I think a bit like Andy, really. I'm just looking for some of the albums that have come out maybe last year and this year that are going to come down in price. Ones that I'd like, but I certainly wouldn't justify paying the top prices. If I can get them for £4 or £5, then I'll be on them. I'd also like to pick up some of my favourite, and I've said it before in a video, with some of my favourite sort of death metal and thrash metal albums on vinyl, if I can pick up the OG press, because I've got myself a nice turntable, and I've kind of turned myself back on to collecting the vinyl a little bit. I'd love to get Forbidden Evil by Forbidden. That's my top grail, I think, now on vinyl. I've got it on CD. I'd love to get that on vinyl, but again, it's I've got to wait for the price to be right. And I am looking forward to the new Asphyx album coming out next year. Martin Van Drunen from originally Pestilence, one of my favourite vocalists of all time. Looking forward to their new album. Necrosaurus, I think it's called, isn't it?
No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's the one.
Come on, you know.
Necrosaurus.
But yeah, just picking up a bit of some of my sort of favourite albums. If I see them for a decent price on vinyl, I'll be picking them up. And what about you, Mike? What you?
Well, I've give up on the sort of last few Earache albums that I want. So now I'm just waiting for them to be reissued. I think Earache are probably going to reissue. There's about 2 or 3. Well, there's about 3 or 4 Cathedral albums. Thankfully, somebody keeps pushing fucking End Time on the Cathedral Facebook. The Earache Facebook page. The chances are they're probably going to reissue End Time. So I want that. And to be honest, I'm not a Forest guy, but I'll still buy it. I'm more Caravan Beyond Redemption and that Carnival Bizarre, but they're fucking 3 figures to buy on vinyl. So I'm hoping they fetch them out. Brutal Truth, Extreme Conditions. Again, it's 3 figures to buy they fetched it out in 2010, but forget it now. It's £100. So I'm hoping that they fetch that out. So there's sort of those last sort of stragglers from the Earache collection. And then apart from Agent Orange and Persecution Mania back in the day, which I'll be honest, I can't even remember that well. I listened to the new Sodom album recently and thought, right, I want to buy that. I haven't bought that yet, but I want that new Sodom, and I want to really sort of dip my toe in some of the older stuff by Sodom, starting maybe try and build up that collection. And the same with Destruction. that last Born to Perish, I love that album, so probably going to try and dig in on them two bands more than I ever have, really. I've kind of just, discarded them as being not as good as Creator, but I think there's merit in having those albums. Maybe not all of them, but I can see me picking up 4 or 5 from those bands each. And even the Andy Dennis era, which I just absolutely hated and didn't want anything to do with for years. That live Halloween sort of United whatever album just made me sort of think, oh shit, I've missed out on all the Andy Dennis stuff. I should probably give that more attention as well.
That was an awesome release. I discovered that this year. And just I'm completely discarded anything for the Derris era. United Alive, if you can get hold of it, it's really well worth it. The DVD is fantastic as well, but if you can't get the DVD, get the CD version. The album version is ridiculous because it's like 5 LPs, and it's just not the way to listen to a live album. There's too many changes. The CD version, DVD version, definitely worth getting.
Are you not going to improve on your Nuclear Blast vinyl collection, Mike?
No, to me, Nuclear Blast are proper fucking whores. They will put out 10 versions of every single thing, and then they're a record label that I have to buy some stuff that's on there, but I just don't fucking. I don't rate them as a label. I think they'll sell any old. They'll peddle any old.
Do you think now you've got your new turntable? Are you gonna look to sort of do any more than just the earache? Do you think you might pick up a bit more vinyl, or are you kind of not?
You know what? I actually want to. I want to do that because it makes the turntable a more worthwhile purchase. But I've got to be able to justify buying it. I justified the earache collection because of what it is, and I justified the main collection, but I didn't even deviate into the live albums because I just wouldn't give a fuck about live albums. But if somebody come along and went, "What about this?" and I went, "Oh shit, yeah, that's right," I would probably like to sort of concentrate on that. But I have racked my brains because I actually want to buy vinyl as well, but I can't think of anything that I'm prepared to pay that bit extra for and have it on record. A few people have said because Anthrax is my favourite band, why don't you buy the Anthrax stuff and stuff like that? But I don't feel the need to. I don't feel the need. I've got to feel the urge to really want to own something on vinyl. I think the only thing I might, if I was ever going to buy any more vinyl, would probably be I would sell black metal CDs that I own and start a black metal vinyl collection because I know that I really do cherry pick from that genre. I'm not the sort of person that says, right, I want all of them and all of them and all of that. I'm really not like that. So it would be a very controlled collection, but I don't really. I'm not over the line for doing that either.
Everything about your collection is very controlled, though, isn't it, Mike? Whether it be CD, tape, vinyl, whatever you buy.
I mean, I feel, I don't know, I feel sort of like, I feel a bit self-conscious of mentioning it sometimes because I feel like it's my fucking Zentrix album. But with having Asperger's, it's got to be a fucking a factor of having been on the spectrum, hasn't it? It's got to be.
No, everyone's collection is got to be personally what they want. I mean, there are things that I grab no one will get because it's what I want because it fits my collection. So I think we're all.
I think you're just on the music collection spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've all got our little ways of doing things, haven't we?
Yeah. So we're getting to the end of our show tonight, and I'm just wondering whether anyone was looking forward to this release for next year.
Yes. That's Mike's highlight of Contact and Blood this year.
I'll tell you what, it would be nice to hear from viewers out there what they would maybe like to see in because we did do some videos where we've done some streams, and we've got to be honest and say they didn't seem to generate the interest that personally I thought they would, compared to just me and these other three mongoloids
talking about
so you tell us, because unlike some other channels out there who think they can put any old shit out and just say there, we'll feed you this fucking warm diarrhea. We want to do something that people want to watch. So we'll keep our overkill ranking videos to a fucking minimum. So what do you want to see on the channel? What would you like us to do in 2021? And you know what? If that is get rid of Mark, we will do that.
Hey, I'm the one who's in the band here.
I know, but I'm the one with the 1,000 subscribers, and Scott's got a fucking yellow belt.
Hey,
and Andy
removed from the stream.
Yeah,
I'll bring you back.
see,
I'll bring you back. There we go.
Oh, fucking hell, he's back.
Hey, I'm carrying the flag of youth here.
Scott might have a yellow.
I'm bringing your age average down.
That's true. No, in all seriousness, though.
Sorry, that was wrong. I was going to say because
in all seriousness, though, it's better to know if you've got suggestions and you would like ideas for videos. That's what we want to hear. I mean, we don't want to put things out because it doesn't make sense to me. I suppose it doesn't make sense to these lads either. There's no point in putting things out for your own benefit, because you can just fucking do that in your own house to yourself. You've got to do it for the benefit of everyone out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, us four, we chat pretty much on a daily basis anyway through Messenger, don't we? And we, so doing this, it's like, here's a good excuse for us all to see each other, because there's no live music out there at the moment, so it is a bit difficult. And I think it'd be something that all four of us I'd love to do, is all get together and go and see live music. But yeah, you're dead right. There's no point in us doing this if people are watching it and thinking, what the fuck are they going on about? We want it to be interesting for people. We don't just want it to be just general chit chat.
I didn't boot Scott that time. He went on his own accord.
Was he just pissed off?
Just saying. I have that power, but I didn't use it this time.
He's just thought, right, I've had enough listening to him talking. I'm off.
We get up from work in the morning. Fuck these guys. Maybe he doesn't like what we do. That's probably it. He doesn't like what we do, and he's like, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah, maybe. Here he comes.
He's back.
All right, you're off totally fucking up now because you're all going crackaway, so I can't hear a fucking word that's going on.
Well, then you say something on the back of what I've said.
Didn't hear that.
Can you hear us, any of us?
I can't hear anyone now.
Right. In that case, then, guys.
Merry fucking Christmas.
I think, yeah. Fuck you all.
Oh, I can hear you now. Santa's dream has come true. Right, we're back. Right, so see ya.
We have reached the end of tonight's stream. I think for individual reasons we can't go much longer for tonight. If not only because I can't mimic Mike's glasses all night. Or I can, but there we go. But I just want to say thanks to everybody that has watched us this year. So we came up with this idea this year. We thought it would be a good idea. I think it has been a good idea because we've had some fantastic support from all of you guys watching us. And I know I speak for the other guys, even though they may not agree, but I think it's been an absolutely fantastic collaboration channel. It's certainly helped me through the whole COVID thing. This is like my Saturday night, sitting here with a few mates, having a few beers. Questions coming from you guys have been absolutely brilliant. Although today, I don't know what's happened. They've all been a bit slow coming through, and so it's not quite been the same. But from my own point of view, thanks everyone for watching this year. It's been a great experience. I didn't realize that we would be doing this kind of live stream thing this year, but yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, well said, Andy.
Yeah, well
He
said.
always says it best.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, everyone.
That's why he's in charge.
That's right.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you all in the new year.
Cheers,
Take
guys.
care.
Cheers.
And there's the button.
Have you knocked it